Hello, my name is Susan Metwali and I'm a yoga teacher. I teach breath work. I'm also a massage therapist and a Reiki teacher. But today I want to talk about breath work, and although breath work is becoming more and more popular, it's definitely something that's been around for a long time. Breath is life. It's usually the first thing we do and the last thing we do in our life. And it's very automatic. So, what are the advantages of taking more control of our breath? If we go back to the old traditions, thousands of years ago, yogis were practicing breath work along with other traditions and cultures, particularly in the East, and breath work was used to enhance our lives. The yoga breath work is called pranayama and involves various techniques that will have different effects, and some are more suitable for certain times of the day, some are more suitable for certain people. So it's important, if you're learning pranayama techniques, to do so from a person who's qualified in that practice. Breathing generally will change not only our mood, our emotion, but also our physiology. We can use the breath in certain ways because how we breathe impacts on our nervous system. So breathing can be used to change our mood, to relieve anxiety, to increase our capacity for learning and to focus on something. It can strengthen our endurance, and in certain situations, it can be invaluable. Take childbirth, for instance. If any of you have given birth, you will know that the breath really did help. Learning how to take charge of the situation was all about the breathing. So, why should you practice breath work if you don't? To improve any of the things that I've just mentioned, yes. And also to improve your general health and well-being. So there's a technique called, for example, coherent breathing. It's a very, very simple technique to learn, but it can have profound effects on our well-being, our general health. It affects so many different systems in the body, and just for a few minutes a day. Practice has to be regular with any of these techniques, but once you get into the habit, you'll find that it becomes actually a very enjoyable part of your day. So, particularly in current times, a lot of people are suffering from stress. A lot of people have emotional difficulties, and by learning to control the breath, allow it to influence our fight, flight, or freeze mechanism, we can bring ourselves into a calmer state of mind that will allow us to cope with these situations far more effectively. The breath can be used to warm the body, to cool the body, to invigorate, and to relax. If you have sleep difficulties, using a simple breathing technique, along with perhaps other measures, will aid sleep. And as a result, you will also sleep more deeply and benefit from your sleep. So, how did I get into breath work? Well, I started practicing yoga many, many years ago, and pranayama at first was not taught. It was mainly the asana practice, hatha yoga. But gradually I started to learn techniques. The first one to learn really is ujjayi breathing. I mean, if I can teach someone ujjayi breathing and they start to do that for a few minutes every day, I know it's going to really impact on their lives and on their practice, their yoga practice as well. So that was how it all started. But alongside that, for many years, I'd been very susceptible to catching colds, and I used to get bronchitis, and all of this was very debilitating. So I was suffering from congestion, and this wasn't entirely surprising. I grew up in a city. I was often surrounded by people who smoke cigarettes, not knowing that the dangers of that at that time. And so this really didn't help my general health. But with time and with my breathwork practice, I ceased catching so many colds and haven't actually had bronchitis for many years. Apart from that, I did in the past catch bronchitis. Did suffer from pneumonia, and this had some long-term effect that actually damaged my lungs. Despite that, I have good lung function and strong lungs, and I entirely put that down to the fact that I've been able to recuperate and keep my lungs working effectively due to my breathing practices. So I would highly recommend using the breath, not just in one way, but in many ways, and learning the techniques that will enable you to do that. And as a result, I think you will find that you are more able to cope with situations that arise that in the past might have disarmed you or had effects that weren't really desirable. So now you will, with the breath knowledge, learn how to control the situation and to keep your own well-being and ease so that you can enjoy life more fully. Thank you.